Hi, it's Shocker. When I see the notifications on Discord for a new hotfix, I find it difficult to parse what information is relevant to me, and the descriptions can range from being vague to even inaccurate. I'm passionate about organizing information to make it easier to understand, so I'll be doing patch overviews from here on to hopefully help all of us understand the changes. I, just like anybody, will have more experience with certain classes or interactions more than other players. Please let me know in the comments if I get something wrong or if I misinterpret some change. We'll be starting with class changes. Going onto a ladder will now actively cancel any casting or drawing of a bow you do beforehand. Sorcerer is the newest class, so we'll be going over them first. Apex of Sorcery has recovered some more damage, putting it at 50% when on release it was 100% damage and spellcast speed. I think this is fair. It may see some more use, but it won't be overpowered as it was on release. Manifold only lowers the base spell cooldown by 25%. I checked, it still works the same, but its penalty is now 10% less on spellcast speed and 2.5% less on the move speed. For me personally, because Manifold affects base cooldown, I only see it being competitive if it has no drawback, or at least no move speed drawback whatsoever. This changes the move speed debuff from minus 15 to minus about 8 or 7. I still find the move speed downside completely disproportionate to the benefits that Manifold provides. The bonus is only useful on run and gun Sorcerer, so why would run and gun want to lose move speed to gain this benefit? The theme here doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, Warbolt size is increased. I think this is a totally fair buff. Flamethrower ticks being doubled. I don't know if this interacts better with True Magic and if that doubles the True Magic scaling with the ability. If it does, then Flamethrower is absolutely going to see play, maybe even replacing Lightning Sphere, especially with the nerfs that we're about to go over. Stone Skin provides less PDR. I think this is a fair nerf that punishes sorcerers that may try to only dive in with Dash and Lightning Sphere and Stone Skin and Glaciate without trying to peel their targets. Lightning Sphere base damage is halved and scaling is halved. Lightning Storm saw way too much play at first, and now it's been completely overshadowed by Lightning Sphere. Due to cooldowns, you have to choose between using Lightning Sphere or Lightning Storm, and these two changes are definitely swinging things back to making Lightning Storm more preferred. Lightning Bolt doesn't stick through walls after locking on. After locking on a target, you can't beam them through walls and doors anymore, which is a massive nerf to Lightning Bolt, but definitely a fair nerf. Lightning Bolt aim slack after locking on is now half the degree range. I would say that this is technically a nerf, but in some cases you'd want to be able to snap off targets more easily. So I honestly see it as a buff, but technically having less degree of error is on paper a nerf. Lightning Bolt damage halved, just like Lightning Sphere. It's taking a hit, but its scaling isn't, which I think Lightning Bolt will still see play because of just how powerful it is. But I think this definitely makes it a little less competitive against other options. Lightning Dash now does half the damage when landing. This is again a nerf against Dash In and Swain with Glaciate, Stone Skin, Lightning Sphere combo. It's trying to nerf that combo from hitting so hard as it does on a base level. Of all the nerfs, I would say that Lightning Sphere losing scaling is the biggest one, because Lightning Sphere is going to be the first ability that doesn't have full scaling on Sorcerer, making it definitely an underdog compared to other options. This scaling will definitely be felt, especially in high gear, making Lightning Sphere less powerful as a melting option when in team fights especially. There's a fix here where sorcerer spells no longer leave behind a trail of visual residue. I haven't tested this, but usually you would see explosions and effects in different areas where sorcerers have cast spells. Maybe this is now no longer the case, which definitely makes it a little less obvious whether there's been a team fight somewhere or not. The last hidden change they've made is Perks no longer change the cooldowns listed in the sorcery tab, which means you don't get the new cooldown numbers until you are actually in game, making it way less obvious how perks affect your cooldowns. So for those of you who haven't gotten used to the numbers, here are the ways that base cooldowns are changed depending on the perks you have equipped. Okay, next we'll be going over Warlock. Warlock Phantomize now avoids fireballs. Fireballs do indeed pass through the Warlock when Warlock is Phantomized, which is an absolutely massive buff to Phantomize when it comes to dealing with wizards. Warlock Curse of Weakness properly applies PDR and MDR debuff. They did fix this. It does work as it says. 15% reduction is very strong, and it will only scale more and more with higher level lobbies. So definitely a massive buff to Warlock. It looks like Warlock is sneaking in quite a few buffs, keeping Warlock very competitive. Barb will only be seeing buffs this patch. Druid can now have 2 spell wheels, whereas before you would only have 1 spell wheel option available. If you like Caster Druid, you can now go full Caster Druid. I don't think that losing out on forms is a great idea just because of how powerful those forms are, but if you wish to do double spell, you can go 10 spell on Druid. Just like how rat form had a change where it squeaks periodically, chicken form is now no different and also makes noise periodically. Cleric has its spell counts reverted back to 4 on Lesser Heal and 2 on Sanctuary, 2 on Sanctuary being the really big revert. Locust Swarm is now 2 charges and scale has been reverted back to the 100%. Overhealing has been nerfed to deteriorate quicker, so it will take about 10 seconds to deteriorate over the usual 20 seconds. Judgment cast time is longer, which is definitely a nerf. And Bless now has a 2 memory cost, and instead of granting Strength Agi Will, now grants +2 on all, which I think is a nerf because of 25s, of how easy it was to slot in Bless. The other stats outside of these 3 are not as important or impactful as these 3 stats, so plus all feels a little weaker to me. Ranger Kinesthesia got a 33% buff. I have a feeling that this is in expectation of a bunny hopping nerf in the future, that they are buffing the tech that helps if you aren't good at bunny hopping. There's also been a buff to Worm Leashing and Worm Escape for Pickpocket Rogue. Experienced Pickpocket Rogues will sometimes grab aggro of Worm and then transfer it to other teams in order to create chaos and allow opportunities for pickpocketing. Leashing now will actually be much safer. Used to be that if you stealth, sometimes Worm will reach 330 move speed and more than 330 move speed, and there's just no way to avoid its attacks. And it would keep following you even if you stealthed to where it last saw you, instead of just stopping if it doesn't see the target. So escaping Worm will be much easier now too, for this niche playstyle. Other in-game changes that aren't class specific but are gameplay relevant. Soul Hearts no longer disappear when going down levels. Used to be that if you were on Ruins and you had a teammate die but no time to res them, trying to go down to Crypts level would actually make the heart disappear. So they fixed that. Potion of Clarity's potency was doubled and duration was increased by 4 seconds at all rarities. So if we look at Meditate, Meditate gives you 34 spell points every 0.75 seconds. Potion of Clarity gives you 34 points now as well. So drinking a Clarity Potion and sitting down is equivalent to meditating at all rarities. The duration of Potion of Clarity is definitely shorter than Meditate's 24 seconds, but with buff duration from Will and random rolls, you could have a Potion of Clarity be equivalent to a Meditate ability. At Epic tier and higher, a 1 Potion of Clarity might give you 1 Meditate worth of recovery, which is phenomenal. Okay, minting used to be when you would go down a level, it would mint any looted gear you had on you to you. Now it doesn't. Now you would actually have to extract to mint the gear. Spectator no longer sees other teams right before loading next level down. Used to be you could sometimes see teams and what they've seen when you go down a level. This isn't relevant because you aren't guaranteed to queue with those people into the next level, even if they go down the stairs after you. But it is definitely nice to know that there's no chance of you being looked at, especially with HR. They changed something about Ghost King. I haven't tested this, but it might be that Ranger Shot and Sorcerer's Wind Blast could knock Ghost King out of its suck ability. So let me know in the comments if that's what this is referring to. The last changes are more out of game. Arena scoring has been improved, so hopefully players who have seen weird changes in MMR from matches will see something more correct to what's happening. And then Marketplace, I'm really happy about this change. It used to be that you couldn't click to buy your own stuff you've listed on the Marketplace back. At some point, this actually disappeared and you could buy your own stuff back and you couldn't tell where your listings were. So this fixes that problem. You won't accidentally buy back items that you've listed. That's a nice quality of life change. Those are all the noteworthy bugs that I saw after filtering through the full list. Definitely helped me to comb through the patch notes to understand how gameplay is affected and what's relevant to me doing it this way. So while Iron Mace isn't very organized with their patch notes, I will continue to make these to help myself and hopefully to help you guys.